Hello, incredible ones. Darnyelle here, and I am so excited to be joined by another one of my fantabulous clients. This time around, I am hanging out with Kim Kendall of Kim Kendall Interiors. And before I even allow her to open her mouth, let me tell you what I love about Kim. So I first met Kim about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and she has the goods when it comes to interior design. I've had the pleasure of going to her home and seeing for myself the amazing type of environment she can create. And what I loved about working with her was really help her to take that gift and turn it into a business that really afforded her the opportunity to be well served by it. She has a genuine heart, like it's just an amazing heart, an amazing eye, and I just love the transformation that she's undergone throughout our work together. So I want to present to some and introduce to others, Miss Kim Kendall of Kim Kendall Interiors.
Hi, everybody.
So Kim, tell everybody a little bit about yourself in your own words.
Okay, so I am a mother of 3 boys who are, well, they're men actually, and they're full-grown men and off doing their own thing. And I have a wonderful husband going on 35 years. We have a great marriage, and he is a great support for me. And so I was first, a at-home mom and wife, and started having friends ask me for help with their homes, because they saw my house and what I did. And we built the house that we've been living in for 25 years. I did all of the selections and everything about it. And so one day someone called me on the phone and asked me what I charged for interior design services. So I said, well, let me call you back. And then I talked to my husband and I said, I called her back and I said, I charge $25 an hour. Can you believe it? So anyway, I actually went to Virginia Tech for business school, but was never really interested in pursuing a professional career like that. So I slowly got into interior design, and it's been a huge passion for me. I love and feel so honored to be in people's homes, and I feel like I'm transforming their lives. I feel like I'm transforming the way they live and how they live, and it's just a really great blessing to be able to have this talent, which came from God. It really, I had no idea I had it. If I had known, I would have majored in interior design in college. But, late in life, somehow I got this other career, and just very blessed to have it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you guys, she is phenomenal. Like, her home it could easily any day of the week. She might tell you maybe there are a few days a week that she wouldn't want it to be featured on the pages of Home and Gardens, but it's that beautiful. Wrap around porch outside. Oh, it's just amazing. Anyway. So we met first in 2012, I think.
Yes.
2012.
Yes.
So tell a little bit about how we met at the Virginia Women's Business Conference that year.
Okay. So I got a free ticket to the Virginia Women's Conference, National Conference in Lansdowne. And I don't even know how I got it. I think I went to one of the Sterling Ladies lunches and somehow I won it. And I would never have probably signed up to go to that. But because I won the ticket, I went. And then you sign up for some courses. And there was this one course, called Market Like a Rock Star. So I said, well, that sounds interesting. So, and at the time I was really busy and I had a lot of work. But I just was I wasn't a good business person, just to put it right out there. And I did no marketing at all. I didn't have a website. I did no marketing. So I went and saw Darnyelle, and she blew me away. I was like, okay, I want more of that. She had such power and spoke so eloquently and was just so smart. I loved everything she had to say. And she was giving another course in a month or so in Herndon, which is also close by where I live. It's a full day course. So I signed up for that. And again, I was blown away. And the energy in the room when Darnyelle, any of you know, is just amazing. And I was kind of a hot mess at the time and was really even deciding if I wanted to keep doing what I was doing. And I had this very, I don't know, gibberish conversation with Darnyelle that day. And she was just basically like, you need an assistant. And I'm like, an assistant? I can't afford to pay an assistant. So, turns out, of course, I don't know my numbers and all that. And she gave me a lot of food for thought. And again, just enjoyed everything she had to say. She just was amazing with everybody in the room, and you just wanted more of her, And so then she called me in January to follow up of 2013. And I just said, I'm not ready for this. My youngest is a senior in high school and he's going to be graduating and I don't know what I'm doing. And so we had this conversation and, as only Darnyelle can do, she's like, you need me and you need to be, what was it called? It's different now. It was the platinum program or
it was platinum at the time.
It was the very top tier. She told me how much it was. I was like, there's no way I'm doing that. And so we talked about the other programs that were available, and I said, okay, I'll do the platinum program. And I kind of just jumped in with full faith, really, because I really had no idea what her program was. I mean, she described it to me, but as any of you all know, you just have no idea what it is until you get into it. So I just took a leap of faith and signed
up. What happened? What happened when you left?
Well, what happened was nothing that I expected, and more than I expected, beyond what I expected. Like I said, I was a hot mess. I had come out of a bad business partner situation. And really, I would say the first 6 months was really kind of personal therapy for me. And I would go to the business retreats. The first one I went to, again, I didn't know what to expect. And there was just such safety in the room and such the women that were there, everybody was just real and authentic and just was sharing. And so really Darnyelle helped me overcome some major insecurities that I had about myself, and a lot due to my business partner and the situation I was in. And I was just kind of beat up and I was beating myself up. And so every business retreat I would go to. So after the first business retreat, I was like, okay, I'm never going to miss one of these again because they're just unbelievable. And I was so glad I was in the platinum group because I got to stay the extra day. Mm-hmm. And which, that last day was always just mind blowing. And then, and every time I would come back, my husband would be like, wow, I don't know what Darnyelle is doing, but she is transforming you. So I feel like it was such a progression. First, even though we were working on my business, I had to clear a lot of personal junk out, and which I knew, but I didn't realize how much that could impact me. And I had a lot of fear. I, of course, did not know my numbers. I hated filling out those worksheets. But what started happening was when I started filling out the worksheets, I was like, wow, I've got a lot of pipeline here. I've got like $300,000 for this quarter. How is that possible?
Right.
And so I feel like every quarter when we did the business retreats, something really profound and amazing happened at every single one. And the further I got past my insecurities and my feelings of self-doubt and all the fear, once we started clearing that, I really started to get clear on my business. So just, so I will never forget, I was going to a meeting, I was presenting a proposal, and it was for I think I'd already done the proposal for the basement. It was for their barn apartment or something. I can't remember. It doesn't matter what it was for. Anyway, I was like, so I called Darnyelle and we talked to her. She said, well, what are you charging? And I said, $25,000. And she went, what? That's ridiculous. You can't charge. That is just so, you are undercharging yourself. We've talked about this before. Well, let me back up. Initially, when I first met her, my initial consultations were $150. And she tried for a real long time to get me to $1,000. So I crept up, like I was $250, and then I was $295. And then when I did 500, and the first time I said to someone it's $500 on the phone, they were like, okay, when can we meet? I just, there was no looking back. And now I charge $1,000 for my initial consultation, and which is unbelievable. And I can now say that's what I charge with complete just faith in myself and complete confidence that I know I'm worth it. And every time I come away from those initial consultations, the clients are like, okay, wow, that was really worth it.
Yeah, so, let's stop there for a second, because that was really powerful. And I just want to dial out the lesson for the people that are listening. So 2 things. Number one, what you didn't hear Kim say, but of course I know because I was there when this was going on, but what you did hear her say is that she realized she was worth it. Confidence or lack thereof is the reason 9 times out of 10 you're not charging what you deserve to charge for what it is you bring to the table. And I would venture to guess that every single one of you under the sound of my voice or watching this video right now, you are as powerful as Kim is at what it is that she does. Kim would spend 2-3 hours with you, give you a full-blown report of everything she just told you, and she would walk away, and then they'd be like, I don't need to hire you. And she'd have nothing to show for it because she spent her time and her energy and her gas going to meet with that client, and that's time she could never get back, or she couldn't make any additional money. So understanding your value and understanding what to charge for the problem you solve in the marketplace is about a lot more than just a couple of dollars. It's about creating, I say this, you'll hear me say it a million times, transferable results. And feeling good about the fact that if, in Kim's case, she walked away from that home and they're not going to hire her to implement everything she just showed to them, she feels really, really good about the time that she spent with them and can be comfortable in knowing that it's okay to step away. But what tends to happen when we undercharge is we feel resentment towards those potential clients. And we have negative energy that's kind of following us around in those moments. And that's part of the reason we aren't able to close the sales we need to close. So a lot of the work, and Kim said this earlier, that we did, and a lot of the work I do with every client I work with, is the mindset. It's the 6 inches in between your ears, because the skill that you have is phenomenal and amazing and incredible, but you can't see it because all of the gunk is in the way. And so we have to take the time to clear the decks. And once we did, Kim closed $100,000 clients.
Yeah. Yeah. So that client that I was going to present a proposal for $25,000, after talking to Darnyelle, I made the proposal and it was totally worth it. I mean, $64,000, and they did not bat an eye. Right. So I would have left $40,000 on the table. I mean,
you would have been burnt out and frustrated.
Yeah.
And not earning what you needed to earn in order to feel good about the job.
Right. And, just from that, it just gives you the confidence to know that you're worth it and you can charge it. And one of the biggest tips you gave me was, remember I was going to that one client and I was sick and I had the proposal and I really didn't want to go, and I knew I was undercharging, and she was always talking about how she didn't have any money, but of course she's traveling to Paris and, whatever, buying all of her clothes. And, I called Darnyelle on the way, and I started crying, because I was just knew that I should not be presenting this proposal. And she said, she said 2 things to me that were just genius. One was, first of all, you don't have to present that proposal today. She doesn't, because she didn't really know that's what I was doing. She said, you can just say you're there for something else and then set the appointment for the next time that you want to present the proposal. She goes, and then go redo the proposal. And I think I doubled the price. Again, I had totally undervalued myself. I wasn't just doubling the price to double the price. I doubled the price because that's what it should have been. And the other thing she said to me is she goes, what you have to remember, because, we all, women especially, you want to be nice, you want to make people feel good. And so when someone hesitates, I'm trying to fill in the gaps of trying to justify why I'm charging what I'm charging, or trying to explain, why they should be paying this amount. And what she said to me is, because I'm thinking, oh, they're going to be mad at me because I'm charging this. And what she said to me was, Kim, they don't care about you. When they're quiet, it's because they're thinking, okay, I want to hire her. How can I afford her? how am I going to tell my husband this is how much which is exactly what I went through before I hired Darnyelle. I'm trying to figure out, how I'm going to afford it. So anyway, long story short, that was genius, because when I went to present that proposal, I presented it to her and I kept my mouth shut and she was silent for a while. It was very painful for me to just sit there and not say anything. And then she went, okay. And then she struck me a check. So that was really one of the best tips you've ever given me, is just shut your mouth.
Yeah. And so for those of you who are listening, just to kind of clue you in on it, right? Whenever you're making a pitch, whenever you're presenting your products and your services, the one who speaks first after you make the pitch is the one who leaves with the product. So it can be uncomfortable to sit and wait, but if it's a no, they will tell you no right away. If they don't immediately say no, it's because they're trying to figure out how to make it happen. You have got to give them the space to figure that out. And that's why the silence is important, because you can talk someone in and talk them out in the same breath if you're not careful. Your insecurity around the price point, because you've never charged that before, although you know it's what you should be charging, and you're so afraid that if you charge this or if you say this, they're going to say no to you. If it was a no, they would have said no right away. But when they don't, it's because they're trying to figure out how to hire you. Give them the space, give yourself the grace, and allow them to take their time to figure out how to make that a firm yes, so that you can have a client that really wants to be served by you. So that's really, really important. So when you think about all of the work we did together, getting your business, massively growing your business to the tune of $500,000 and building out a team and all of that stuff, although that was great, what has been the best part of us working together?
Well, oh my gosh, so many things. First of all, I adore you, and you know that. You're just fabulous. You changed my life, really. I mean, you at the end of the day, my business is a little different now, because I'm not downsizing my numbers, but I've downsized my team. Mm-hmm. But what you have given me is peace. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have peace before. Mm-hmm. And you gave me peace on so many levels, on not just what to charge, but just how I want to live my life. And that you make people really think about, it's not about the money, it's how you want to live your life. And I'm a completely changed person. And I would say every 6 months of going to you quarterly, I saw big changes in myself. Mm-hmm. And my husband did too, he just was, when it was almost like, when are you going to go see Darnyelle? You need to go see her, which is not like him, by the way.
You tell Peter I miss him.
I will. Very much. He loves Darnyelle. And, I was thinking about this. One of the other things that I don't think I've ever said is the group of people that you have in your clients are some of the most amazing, smartest, brilliant, hardworking, just incredible, no pun intended, mm-hmm. women. They always blew me away. I mean, just so your clientele really taught me so much mm-hmm. about myself. It just was such a blessing to be around them. And that's another thing I wasn't really expecting. It's hard to go to those business retreats. It's easy just to say, I want to stay home. But so I don't know. I think you transformed my life. You transformed my business. You gave me peace. I don't know. That's pretty powerful.
I don't know what else thing. Could you say? And you're right. I think I realized just recently that the work that I do, I know I call myself, I'm in the container of a business coach, but I'm really not a business coach. I'm a life changer. It's amazing to think about how helping you to step into the woman that Kim was always meant to be in every way, right? And how it shows up in every area of your life, and how, Peter is like, when are you going to see Darnyelle? Or I remember when I came to your house for 4th of July, and Peter came up to me and gave me the biggest hug, and he was like, thank you for what you've done for my wife. I have chills right now because I'm like, I didn't know when I said I'm going to be a business coach that is what I would do, that it would show up that way for people. And for you to say, I've given you peace, like, man, like, I'm going to try my best not to cry.
I know, we've tried not to cry. So the other thing is too, this was another big thing that really was, I don't know what to say, such grace and such a blessing was when, so Zach, my oldest son, Zach, started working for me. And he and Darnyelle, I feel like they're kind of working behind my back of what I should be doing. But I also just loved how you and all the women just accepted him and loved him and just let him be him. And, working with him was just one of the greatest joys of my life. Yeah. And, he just believed in everything that you would say. And so unfortunately, and then I have a witness that we do the business retreats saying, well, Darnyelle said you needed to do
I know. But Zach was great and he's cute. Look, he's a little too young for me, but I thought if I thought he liked brown sugar, I would have given him a go before I found my husband. But yeah, I mean, for me, again, that was another thing that was like game change, that you figured out how to do your work well enough for your son, who is talented and has so much brilliance, to decide that he wanted to help his mom grow her business. And then that he was there. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that is just amazing.
He was all in.
Yeah. When you think about, as women, who have children, I don't know anyone who wouldn't say that they would love for their children to want to be a part of what it is that they're doing. And for him to take to your business in that way and to show up, full throttle every single time there was a retreat was just amazing. It was a great gift. And the energy, the masculine energy in the room with a bunch of women was great for us, because he brought a different thought process to the table. Mm-hmm. We could all appreciate and leverage in order to help you to continue to step in. I mean, it's just, when I think about the work that I get to do and having the opportunity to work with you for 5 years, like, I mean, it is just amazing. And I just can't believe that I get to do this. So what would you share with those who are listening or watching as they consider whether or not they should have a conversation with me or a member of the team to hear about what we're up to these days at Incredible Factor University and how we might help them to change their life and their business? What would you share?
Well, the first thing I would say is the first step is just a conversation. Mm-hmm. So I think our fear keeps us from maybe wanting to blossom and grow and become better. And I think that we're not afraid of failure. Maybe we're afraid of succeeding. And so we want, so people might be afraid to talk to you because that means they're making a step forward. Mm. But I would say you have, of course, 1,000,000%, I would totally recommend working with you, having that conversation with you. You do transform people's lives. It's one of those things you can't really explain it. People have to go through it. It's not, you had changed my life for sure on so many levels, not just business levels, but you also really dial down into the business, and you have to know your numbers. You have to, know where you're going as far as what your forecasts are and all of that. And it works. I guess that's the biggest thing. It works. If you do what Darnyelle says, you will have a thriving business, and it works. You have to do the work, but she knows what to do. And she knows, like we said, beyond business, how to help you with your personal struggles, which we all have. Mm-hmm. And it's worth every penny and more. I mean, I got so much out of it and was able to charge triple, quadruple what I was charging. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say other than that. You're kind of crazy not to, what I'd say.
Yeah. I agree with it. I totally agree with you. I mean, Kim said it best, it's just a conversation. We may or may not be the right fit, but one thing I know for sure is if you have goals and dreams of what it is that you want and it's not your reality today, there's a gap and you need someone that'll help you to fill the gap. And I welcome the ability for you to have a conversation with me or a member of our team to help you to expose your gap and then to fill your gap. And if we're the right fit, then we can talk about what it would look like to work together. I mean, I love doing what I do every single day. I cannot believe, I could pinch myself right now. I cannot believe that this is my life and I get to do this work. And I get to work with amazing women like Kim and help them to change everything in their life. It's not just the money, although she's made lots of it. It's not just watching her skill on display in the lives of other people. It's her being a better woman and a better mom and a better wife, a better human being, and peace. I mean, I might need to put that on my tagline, right? Like, I mean, what's the going rate for peace? I think it's priceless.
Yes.
And to know that you know that you know that you have a business that really serves you. I think back to that one retreat when you first opened up about your former business partner and just how broken you were and how we just all enveloped you in love and support to help you to break through all of that stuff so that you could really step into everything that God had been holding for you. I mean, he was literally holding everything he wanted to give you and you couldn't get it because all of that stuff was in the way. And I think about that all the time and how that happened at a business building retreat.
Yeah,
right?
That was one of the most incredible, and again, wasn't expecting it. Someone else was sharing their story and all of a sudden I was crying and Darnyelle's like, why are you crying? I'm like, everything she said. Me too. And then we just had a big ugly cry, but it was totally worth it. And again, I felt so safe.
Yeah.
I think it's important. I felt safe. I felt, nobody was judging me. No one was going to say anything later. Everybody was thinking, wow, she just made a huge breakthrough and I want to break through like that. Yeah. And I think that's a powerful thing too, Darnyelle, I'll say it again, is how safe you make people feel. Mm-hmm. And, you want them to do the work. You're not going to be messing around, but at the same time, you're just, have such grace about you that you allow people to work through their junk.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's really eloquently said. And I love it. Like, I think my gift to see you as the highest and best version of yourself is what allows me to have grace as you walk it out and to be willing to hold your hand through the process. Right. I mean, for me, that's what it's really all about, because it's not just about the money. And I know, I'm the biggest culprit of leading with the money. She made this amount of dollars, or they closed this amount of dollars, because I think as business people, that's the one thing we all know we need more of, right? But it is so much more than the money. And you just heard Kim share from her perspective what that's been. And if you've listened to the other interviews that we've done, you've heard it time and time and time again, what it's like to work with me. And I'll be honest with you, I don't work with everyone. I'm very selective about who it is that I allow to come into my space, because I know this divine gift and assignment that God has placed me on. And I want to make sure that we can come into covenant partnership to help you to get whatever it is that you're wanting and needing. So if you're listening and your spirit has been piqued and you'd like to have a conversation, again, I welcome you the opportunity to apply. All you need to do is to go to darnyelle.com/session. Again, that's darnyelle.com/session, and we can have a conversation. Kim, anything you want to leave with the people in closing?
I say, people, you just got to go for it. Get off your fear, jump full board into it with faith, and amazing things will happen. Things that you never, ever would have thought will happen.
Awesome. Well, I think on that note, I'm going to say, be better, be stronger, and more than anything, be incredible. I believe you deserve a business that serves you financially and spiritually, and I would love to help you to do that. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Take care.